behalf of the Department of Community Development, I wish to welcome you this evening. I see some new faces, which is always good, and I'm seeing some faces from last week, which is even good also. So this evening we'll be having two presentations. Namely, one presentation will be by the Police Department of St. Maarten, entitled Safety and Security. And then we have a presentation by the St. Maarten Foundation of Psychologists and Orthopedagogen, and they'll be talking about the importance of emotional well-being after a storm.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Miss Leonard. I'm the community officer for Dutch Quarter. That is my area that I work in. Tonight, I'm going to give you a short presentation of what we are in charge of as the police force of St. Maarten. Planning for the hurricane season, plan of action, do and don't, SEPTED, and tips, and to know your community officer. That's what I have for you for this evening. As we know, the biggest important part, everybody knows, we always tell people have your hurricane kit available for you at all times. I think by now everybody knows what's supposed to be in a hurricane kit. We know we're supposed to have our medical supply. Try to put your passport, your documents in a plastic bag. Keep it safe, your passports, everything that you need. We also, if you have infants, please have something secure also for your infants. I always suggest persons, besides your documents, stay informed. See if you can get a little radio. Get somewhere you can get information. We know we have Flow and we have Telem, but you know, during that time, hurricane, the first thing that goes is our Flow and our Telem. So we try to get the wave radios. Please, we do advise people to get one of the small radios to keep informed. Have an evacuation plan. We always try to advise people to have an evacuation plan. Meaning, if you know that your house is not strong enough to take the hurricane and you know that you have a neighbor, that is why we try to tell please pick a neighbor that you know and trust and that is willing to take you into their homes. Okay? Have a plan. There is a telephone number you can call. Can I call Susie? Come and pick me up. Someone with a pass, if possible. If you know your home is not safe, have a plan. Know your shelters. It is important to know where is your nearest shelter when there is a hurricane. There's a list that comes out every year telling you where's the shelters. I think it's important that everyone knows. The councils in your community, they have meetings. It's important to go to the council meetings in the community. They give you a lot of information about the shelters and what should be brought to the shelter, what should not be brought to the shelter. That is important to know where is your shelter is located. Community spirits should be high at all times. What we mean by that is, like I just explained, we live in a community these days that you don't know your neighbors. You have someone living as close as possible to you, but you don't know your neighbors. I do advise people in your community get to know each other, because at hurricane times, that's when everybody knows each other. And you never know that Susie lived next door, but Susie's living next door. Get to know your neighbors. It's important. When you keep in your community together, when hurricane comes, we all can be safe together, because everyone will be looking out to take care of each other. And that's where we have the councils. The councils is very important. I repeat over and over, it's important that the councils keep a lot of meetings before hurricane season or before the hurricane season, so that the neighbors can know exactly where and what is taking place. It is very important. Preparedness. We are talking about the kits. Have enough canned food, water. Have yourself available. Yes, the police is out there to assist, but you have to be prepared when it comes to hurricane. We are there for when incidents, like if something damage your home, the fire department and the police come and try to assist. But we are there mostly for the safety. Safety when the buildings are falling, we remove people from areas. If, as you know, the looting takes place as soon as a hurricane comes, we try to keep everyone off the room and in their homes. Follow the orders of the police. When we say, please come off the road, there's no reason for you to be outside during a hurricane looking for food. This is why we need to be prepared in advance. Look, be prepared. The vulnerable ones are the persons in our neighborhood we have to pay attention to. I always advise if there's someone, again I go back to the council, that knows Janice is in a wheelchair. I think the family of Janice should always notify the fire department, the police, or the council members that Janice is in a wheelchair. If something is happening, please go to Janice's home. If the home is not safe, we take Janice from the home and we place her in a safe place. So I advise all family members, if you know that you have someone in your family that need assistance, do not leave them alone in their home during the hurricane time. Prior actions, that's why we always say that anything that needs to be done, do it in advance. Do not wait, because we had some incidents and we know that we lost a lot of persons during hurricanes because that's when they choose to go outside to do something. So let's do everything before the hurricane. Don't wait the same day to start fixing windows, running to ACE to fix this and to fix that. You might just be caught in a situation that we wouldn't want to happen. Secure your property and your house and your business. Most of the times I notice most of the businesses tend to start to secure their businesses and then run last minute to secure their homes. But I think we should start stepping up on this plan. We secure our home, run to our business, secure the business, come back. Then your home is secure because you're not going to stay in your business. You're going to go back home. Okay? Let's try to get everything in a safe environment at the correct time. Secure your businesses and your home. If you have workers, leave your workers go home to secure their homes. They tend to leave the workers, stay in the business till late, and then the workers there themselves cannot go home to secure their own homes. So that is something we need to get out there to businesses also. Please leave your workers go home on time so they also can secure their homes. Remain off the road. That is something, it is so difficult in Maarten to do. I notice there are persons always out on the road till late, wait last minute to do this and to do that. When the police said to remain off the road, they're not only telling you this because we want to tell you don't come outside, we're telling you this for your safety. Remain off the roads. Remain off the road. If you do not have a pass, do not be on the road. But I have to go to the hotel to go to work because remain off the road at all times. If you do not have a pass, you're not a nurse, you're not a doctor, you're not a fireman, you remain off the road for your safety. You have to wait for clearance. Sometimes we think the hurricane is over. That's when it's coming. You hear the silence. Oh, everything is over, so they start going outside. Wait until you hear from the authority, everything is clear, then you can come outside. We prefer everyone stays inside until it is said by the authorities you can come outside. Please, please adhere to all instructions by the police officers. This is where we can avoid any conflicts. Okay? Stay informed. I repeat that again, stay informed. Don't leave any items lying around. What I mean by that, we tend not to clean up our surroundings. A piece of zinc, you leave it there, the wind blows, it goes in someone else's home, damage that person next to you, their homes. So we try to clean up our surroundings as much as possible. We try not to wait for everything for the government to do. We have to try and do it ourselves. Because we tend to say we're waiting until government clean this or clean that. But we also, as persons, as people, we should know that we should keep our surroundings clean at all times. Okay? I stress on do not go outside until the storm is past and you get permission to go outside. Okay, besides, make no other plans besides hurricane related, meaning don't plan and tell your neighbor, the hurricane coming, we could keep domino on the next side neighbor, tell the hurricane pass. No, stay in your own home where it's safe, where you can get your proper health. If you leave your home and go in her house and then her house blow, then both are in the same position. Okay, so let me make no other plans. Stay inside your home. Okay, this picture here is a great example I'm talking about. You see all this bush? This is a picture we take by a house before hurricane. And sorry we don't have the aftermath of the picture, but this bush here caused a lot of damage. The things was flying. So we prefer you trim your trees, try to secure around your home. And also, maybe it's not anything to do with hurricane, but anybody can hide in this among the bush that you have here. We know today a lot of us like to grow our trees as tall as possible, but it's also that's a place where our little visitors sit and wait and watch your actions, what you do all day, what time you come home, when you leave your home, because you don't expect somebody to sit in that tree all day waiting on what you're doing. But this can happen, okay? As you know, in every community right now, by every community officer, there is a group chat. Every officer has a WhatsApp group chat, and in that WhatsApp group chat, everything that comes from DCOM comes in our chat, and we also send it out to the group chats. So that's the way we also keep everyone informed on what is happening during hurricane time. So it would be nice if you're not in any of the community chat, you can join the community chat, and you also will be informed via DCOM and also from the police side on what is taking place during the hurricane, okay? So I would advise everyone, if you are living in any particular area, you can get information from that area from your community officer to get signed up to the group chat. Because in that group chat, a lot of information is given out. When there are stolen cars, if there's something happening in your area, all of that goes into the group chat from the community officers. So if you know your community officer, please join the group chat. A lot of information goes in there. Tips for everyone. Try to get names of your neighbors. It's important. It's very important to know who you're living next to. In case something happens, you can reach out to your neighbor. They can help. They really can help. You'll be surprised. You do have some kind neighbors out there. Okay? You do have some kind neighbors. Anyone knows the name of the streets that you're in the area that you live in? Do you know your names of your streets? It is important because when you call that 911, you need to direct the police officer directly to where you're staying. Know the name of the street that you're living on. Sorry? Know the name of the street you're living on, and your house number, your telephone number, to give the police direct information on how to find you if something takes place. Because you'll be surprised somebody, no, I live in a yellow house across, but that's not enough information. We need to also know the name of your street.
Exactly, they need to put the names back up, so how do you know?
But knowing the name of your street,
My street, yes, but the surrounding ones, that's the issue.
Okay, but we will know, when you give us the name of the street, we know the name of your street. Maybe the boards are not there, but we have to know the name of your street. So when you indicate your name of the street, the officer will find the name of your street. Okay? Information. If you see particular cars on your street at particular time, if you want to give us information, just, not everybody's a car expert. You can just tell us what you see. Information, when there's a hurricane and something happens at your home, please inform them how many persons is in the room with you, how many persons are staying in the home with you. So if they need to evacuate, they know how much trans we need to come with. If we need to come with a car, a bus, so we can help you out faster, okay? So, and please have a working cell phone. If not, 911 is free. So make sure that, charge your phone. In case current go, make sure that your phone is charged. It's very important. We tend not to charge our phones. We leave it free all day. Let me try charge your phone or get the booster chargers. That's very important now. The technology has changed. We have booster chargers. Charge your phone. Have that with you at all times, so you can call 911 in case you need to be evacuated. And I encourage everybody to join the WhatsApp chat. Okay? We have a little few changes now with the Waika Kenton. Like I said, I'm in the area of Belvedere, Dutch Quarter, Oishapon, up to Defiance. Mr. Ethel Walters, he used to be in charge of Lowlands, but now it's Bayrad, John Bayrad. You have Miss Sean Crispolo, she's in the area of Colby, Union Road area. Then you have Miss Helen Romeo. She's over Middle Region, Sucky Garden, Madam Estate, Oishapon, Don Beach, Defiance. We share that area together because it's a very large area. Like I said, we have Joan Bayrad in the place of Mr. Ethel Walters. We have Sharitsa Jones. She's now in charge of Cahill, Fort William, Bush Road. Then we have Martis. He's over Phillipsburg, over the Palm, Point Blanche. Sharon Richardson is KB and Simpson Bay. So these persons, you can always call the police station if you would like to get their numbers, and they will assist you. That's Mr. Richards. I don't know, I'll have to put it in. Mr. Richards. Yes, Felix. Okay? He is the one in charge of those areas at the present moment. Okay? So it is important that you, I don't have the numbers. You get the numbers at the police station, because if you do not get 911, the community officers' telephones has to be available to the community at all times. So if you do not get through with 911, you can call your community officer and they will assist you with help. Okay? So I would advise everyone, the season is coming. Let's get prepared and not wait last minute. Okay? So thank you for listening to my short presentation again. Be prepared, everyone.
All right, good evening, everyone. I made sure and went and looked at the list of persons here, and I've noticed that you all are very community-minded individuals. So our presentation will align perfectly with the things that you believe in. Now, of course, we are talking about hurricane preparedness, but we believe that we should use our own traditions and values to prepare, to cope, and to heal from disasters or what have you. I heard Bakari talk about emotional well-being during, after a storm, and actually we are making the case for the fact that when we use our traditions and our values, they contribute to our emotional well-being. All right? So my name is Xiomara Balentina, as Bakari said, and I'm here with my colleague Sharitsa Peterson, and we are representing the St. Maarten Foundation for Psychologists and Orthopedagogen. Orthopedagogen is a Dutch word for pedagogue or educational diagnostician. We could not find an English word because some of us were educated in the Netherlands and the name is orthopedagoog. So that is why we are using the Dutch term. Now, we were founded in 2014 with the aim of promoting more culture-sensitive education, practice, and research when it comes to psychology and pedagogy. We do not believe that psychology is necessarily universal in the sense that the psychology that you learn in the Netherlands is necessarily the psychology that you use here. Psychology is personal, and it is related to communities, and communities help to form theories around psychology. So we are not promoting a universal psychology. We have to look at what lives within a community, and we build on that. So that is our purpose. Over the years, we have participated in many community engagement events. Last year, we participated in this event, and the year before, we also participated, and we are always glad or happy to be part of these events. So I will now pass the word over to my colleague, Sharitsa Peterson, to give her part of the presentation.
Thank you, Xiomara. And so we know that hurricanes is not something that is unique to us. It's something that happens on a regular basis over a very long period of time. And so hurricanes have been affecting the Caribbean for centuries, and since there are no known way to prevent them, we can expect that they will continue to affect these islands for years to come. And this is a quote from the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency. And what it teaches us is that hurricanes are beyond our control. We can't do anything about it, that they are part of our experience in the Caribbean, and that they will continue to come. And our focus today is on hurricane, which is one type of disaster, but there are many different types of disasters that happen around the world. And what natural disasters are, they are violent events that are outside of the control of humans. So we have no personal influence over hurricanes, natural disasters. They are caused by forces of nature and may result in loss of life, injury, and damage to property. There are many different types of natural disasters, including avalanche, drought, earthquake, flooding, hurricane, tornado, tsunami, volcanic eruption, and we have experienced those over the years in our sister islands, including St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and wildfire. A couple of weeks ago, we also experienced wildfire, I believe, in the middle region area. So this is things that natural disasters can happen, and even in our doorways. And in addition to the natural disasters, we know that they impact us in very unique ways. And the impact starts with the individual impact. It causes us stress. And there are physical as well as emotional symptoms that comes along with that. And I will delve into that in the next slide. The community impact. So after Hurricane Irma, we noticed there was a decrease in population. Persons moved to different islands or different countries to seek a better way of life, or until things became better. Then the economic impact, the loss of property. Many people lost their homes, or also lost their homes, their businesses, schools were damaged, severely impacted. So there's the economic impact. Businesses were impacted. And there is the environmental impact too as well. Think on the destruction of our trees. Think on the destruction on our marine life too as well. Think on when those boats, they were sunk. Many of them spent months underwater, and how that could have impacted our marine life. And think of our animal life. The birds, the lizards, our local animals, they were severely impacted by hurricanes. And what we discussed too as well, that preparedness is important, not just after. We have to prepare before, during, as well as after. So it's an ongoing process, and preparedness is key part of that. And some signs, some of the psychological as well as physical symptoms we can experience is anxiety. We can feel anxious. Just the thought of that storm coming can make people feel stressed. We can experience feelings of sadness or numbness. So persons can feel sad, but you can also feel emotionally numb, that you're just not feeling anything whatsoever. We can also experience physical symptoms, headache, body aches, where sometimes your shoulders hurt and you see somebody smiling, your shoulders, body aches. You have some people that may have to go to the bathroom more often than usual because of the stress. And we can also have problems sleeping and eating. So I've heard persons say, I feel tired, especially tired during storms. I even sleep throughout the storms. Or you may have persons that don't sleep at all. They are wide awake. Or problems eating, that they eat too much or too little. In other words, this just means that hurricanes can have a significant impact on our lives. But the beauty about it is that we did not enter this world as just blank slates. We come from a strong history of resourceful and impactful people. And our elders knew that suffering, like love and happiness, are part of life. And you can see here from the mango blossomings that our elders understood that. They understood nature. And they also understood that there's a season for everything. So there's a season for blossoming, there's a season for the fruit development, and there's a season for harvesting. And our elders understood our nature and natural environment very well. And so, as part of that process, that we are not blank slates, we come with existing knowledge that has sustained us over the years. Our traditions our traditions and valued practices for the preparation, coping, and healing. We start with our oral tradition. Think on the storytelling. Think on the Nancy stories or the local stories. Think on the proverbs. There's a season for everything. Or with every dark cloud, there's a silver lining. Think on kaiso, which is music, also known as calypso. The sharing of resources. I remember after Hurricane 2 as well, you would see neighbors visiting each other and sharing their resources. Some person would have harvested some of their food supplies before the storm and shared it with each other. So I saw a lot of that. And then we also heard CPO Leonard spoke about the importance of community. Knowing your neighbors, that is critical. So in case, and not only after the storm, but all throughout the year. So in the event of a natural disaster, people know where to find you and to provide that necessary support. And our elders were deeply connected to the land, nature, and a higher being. So not that we are just isolated beings here, that we are connected to a higher purpose. And we also have survival life skills, knowing how to cook. My colleague Xiomara is going to delve in deeper into the life skills. For the oral tradition, I indicated storytelling, the proverbs, the traditional saying that there's a season for everything. And now I'm going to share a short video by Lord Pretender and Brother Resistance called Never Ever Worry. And this is a form of music, kaiso, that helps us to cope with natural disasters.
The long time something come back again. Mix the thing. The long time something come back again. Mix the thing from rap sort of kaiso. Mix the thing from rap sort of kaiso. Mix the thing. Introducing the lyrical power and the great honorable Pretender. This is true grandmaster, the extempo. With rhythm and rhyme and the lyrics on the floor. So tell it to the world and make the whole world know. He's a living legend in the house of Kaiso. So come in, Pretender.
Some people in the world today don't realize that worries don't pay. Let the people in the world today don't realize that worries don't pay. Pressing the worries upon your shoulder, only bringing you older and older. These wicked things them people just do. They don't realize you have worries too. Tell them to never ever worry.
Never worry, never worry, never worry about a thing. No,
Never ever worry.
but life is never easy. Hear the song we sing.
Never ever worry. What I'm saying
What I'm saying is true. Never worry, just free up your mind. Same way just send the rain, send the sun to shine. And if you get yourself falling flat on your face, I say to pick yourself up and get back in the race. Mix the things. Pretender. Mix the things. From rap so to kaisu. Never worry about that thing. Just relax yourself and hear Pretender sing.
When I was young, Granny said to me, "Alright, boy, never ever worry, or your problem would seem bigger and bigger, and you'll be living a life of torture." She told me, as a matter of fact, to fling all my troubles behind my back, keep in touch with the Almighty for guidance, love, and serenity. She said to never ever worry, don't mind how things looking hard. My granny told me, never ever worry, don't mind how you're suffering bad. Granny tell me, never ever worry, what I'm saying is true.
So true.
Always consider somebody suffering more than you.
I say when it have life, it have hope. So even when you find it hard for you to cope, come on, I say to wipe your tears away. Kiss yourself and hug yourself and let the music play. Never worry about a thing. No.
Never ever worry.
But life is never easy. Hear the song we sing.
Never ever worry.
What I'm saying is true. Always consider somebody suffering more than you.
Tell them to never ever worry, don't mind how things looking hard. I say to tell them never ever worry, don't mind how you're suffering bad.
Tell them again.
Never ever worry, what I'm saying is true.
So true.
Always consider somebody suffering more than you.
From rap so to kaisu, mix the thing. From rap so to kaisu.
So I just saw some heads bobbing, maybe some a little waist moving too. But within that, there's a lot of wisdom within those words. And you notice too as well, he said, resting your worries on your shoulder only bring you older and older. How many times our family have told us about, not stressing yourself, you're going to get old before your time. Never ever worry because life is easy, because our elders understood that life has its ups and downs. We go through our emotions. Life has its good moments, but it also has its challenging moments. Always consider that someone else is suffering is more than you. That, yes, we are suffering, but there are also other people that are suffering too as well. And sometimes when we know that, hey, we are not alone in this, that helps to ease some of that stress we experience. Clear up your mind and relax. You notice in the video, you saw the men socializing and playing domino. These are also games that are within our community. You see them within different districts, people playing dominoes. Also, those are ways to help heal the mind. So healing the mind doesn't always have to consist of sitting in a psychologist's office. It can also be having those nice fun moments with each other, with your family, with your friends, with your community, and staying in touch with the Almighty for peace and serenity, so that in the event of stress and uncertainty, that there's a higher being that can give people a sense of peace in times of uncertainty, especially in the event of a natural disaster. And with that said, I turn the floor over to my colleague Xiomara.
Thank you. You know what's so interesting? I specialize in what you call cognitive behavior therapy. You can go to therapy and you can get, and a therapy form is cognitive behavior therapy. But in that case, that's cognitive behavior therapy, So there's nothing new under the sun. The point that we are trying to bring forward is, yes, you can come to one of us. It's a luxury. But We have so many knowledges and so many traditions and values that is within us. And if we can just tap into those things will help us. So that's what we are trying to bring forward. And what I want to touch on is the importance of community and sharing resources. We come from a community of people who believe and value community. And all of you who are seated here, you're community-minded individuals. Yes, you're in formal organizations, but you believe in community, and that's why, you're in these organizations. You see, one of the important values and traditions, not only of St. Martin, Anguilla had it, all these other islands, jollification. What is jollification? Who can tell me what that is? Exactly. Yes. Come to my house. Yeah, exactly. You see, our people understood that there is power in working together and in jollification. So indeed, back in the day, come on Sunday or whatever, you help me build my home, I cook, we have a good time. So jollification is a very important value that has sustained us. And by the way, I think we want to believe that jollification is something that came over from the continent. When people came, when the enslaved came here, they worked together. That's how they survived. And so it is something that was passed on to us, and it is something that sustained the elders. And then we have to ask ourselves the question, do we practice jollification today? How do we practice jollification? We would go, as I said, we would come to a therapist, but then you're an individual and you have your whole community there. And what happens to community? So these are things that we are trying to point out. Fortunately, in Colombia, almost every year, they have the Arwood Jollification Festival. That is a community that oppose values and traditions. I believe there are other communities who do that, but Colombia is a perfect example. And those people, they live together in a unique way. We sat with those individuals and they told us how they prepared for hurricanes, what they did during the hurricanes and after. They did not wait, as a community officer said, for government to come. They did it themselves. These are values, these are traditions that contribute to our emotional well-being, our psychological well-being, and what have you. So, Sharitsa said, and I'm touching on this again, our people were connected to the land. They respected the land. How many of us respect the land that we live on? How many of us do that? And we respect nature. We know if you respect nature, good things come back to us. But when we do not take care of nature, what's happening today? But our people took care of nature and respected nature, knew the importance of nature. We come from a people who have always been connected to a higher being and God. In the song, Lord Pretender, he mentioned that as well. And you do not necessarily have to be religious. You can be spiritual. You believe in something higher than yourself, all right? The traditional survival wisdom skills. Who here has knowledge of plants, the medicinal value of plants? Yes, I know you do. Yes, great. So you're all stressed. Hurricane is coming. What did those people do back then? They could identify all the plants in their areas, in their neighborhoods, and they knew that there were plants that served a particular purpose, even to calm you. That's what that is. I must say, for example, the Haitian community. I was speaking with some persons in the Haitian community. Do you know that they know a lot about the herbs that grow here? They know plants that people from here do not even know. And they would go and they would pick those plants. Emotional well-being, having knowledge of medicinal, of the values of plants and knowing how to use that. Growing our own foods. There was a time when there were not a lot of supermarkets. People had to grow their food. Irma, remember there was a time that foods were not necessarily coming in? Now imagine, we are cut off from the world. How will we survive? So what did our elders teach us? And COVID, the community garden in the backyard. You see what COVID taught us? These are our values and our traditions. And how can we apply them today? Not only during crises, but as part of our lives. Building techniques. You see that house there, that traditional house? They knew. They were not skilled in all these complex techniques that you would learn in the universities, but they understood that the hip roof, that's a hip roof, that is a roof that is hurricane proof. Because the hurricane cannot get, if you build that properly, the hurricane cannot get under that. Lots of homes today have this, in St. Maarten. But it started there. And it was very difficult for the hurricanes to get under those type of houses too. The soursop, as a plant, we know the medicinal values of that. We participated in a Johnny cake making workshop years ago in Colombia, because those women said, listen, during Irma, people were out of bread. And if you don't know how to make your own bread, what are you going to do? So they're saying that these are things that we have to pass on to the younger generation, because disasters will come. Irma taught us that. COVID taught us that. We have to be able to sustain ourselves, and we have to be able to practice these traditional stuff. We are saying that our traditional cultural practices are protective shields. They protect us. Hurricanes will remain part of the Caribbean experience. Natural disasters will remain part of our experience. But we believe that we should use our values and traditions. I put here 2 strategies for wholesome living. Don't wait until a disaster to practice these things. We need to practice these things now. The community officer said that we do not know our neighbors. In Colombia, everyone knows their neighbors. And everyone says good morning and good afternoon. And everyone checks on everybody. Why should we have to wait until a hurricane to go to a neighbor? How many of us in here know our neighbors? How many of us? Yeah, but you are community-minded people, so you are, yeah. So I shouldn't even ask that question. I should not have asked that. So you see, you are the right people to be here. What we are saying is we need to go back and fetch. Go back and claim that which we have lost, because we are losing it. But you are here, and I know that you are people who believe in these things. So we go back and we fetch. All of these things contribute to our well-being, holistic well-being. They can come in handy during crisis moments, but during normal moments as well. So I have a question. I don't know if I'm over time, but anyway. What traditional cultural practices were you exposed to when growing up? And how did it sustain you as a person? So what were you exposed to? And how did that value, that tradition sustain you? You're here today. You're part of community. The fact that Colombia has remained so authentic is because it's a very homogeneous group, you know, of St. Martiners who have been there. And who, but they said to us, they have some immigrants in there, they welcome them, and they have adapted the values.
That's the situation.
Yeah.
A lot of them come in and they try to change, and then the people from that particular community becomes like the minority. And so you end up...
It's tricky.
Besides accommodating, changing and adapting and straying away from what you actually began with.
Yeah. It's tricky.
That's happening like St. Peter's Garden, a lot of different communities, unlike it has happened in Colombia.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky. It's a good point. I want to say these are just 2 examples of our current keepers of our values and traditions. The ladies of Colombia, I have to mention them again, and Miss Christine Hodge, I think you know her. Dutch Quarter. She took in and fed so many people after Irma. You know, this is a lady that she exemplifies the values and the traditions. She helps people in need. Community spirit. If we can only get half of her in each community, I think St. Maarten, it would be so much better. So these things are slipping away, and it's how do we reclaim these things? So you are here. You are part of important organizations. So how do we prepare, heal, and cope? Share your stories with the people in your community, with your children, with your grandchildren. We need to share. We need to have more exchanges. We need to participate in events like these. And how many of you have recently organized a jollification event in your community? I know I would see no hand go up. Is this not something that we can attempt to do? It is part of who we are, jollification. It's a value, in my view, that is not just linked to building a home. You know, let's come together, cook together, work on something together. So my challenge to you is Rotary, I see there are faith-based organizations here. These are things that we could do. Help someone in need. I know that you guys do that. You share resources. Teach survival skills. When we did this last year in Coal Bay, there was a Miss Kanagita there, and she said, you know, cooking on 3 stones, she said, I can still do that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, but there are some people in Somalia who can still do that. So imagine hurricane strike, we have no cooking gas. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? These are things, yes, these are modern times. Embrace it, but these are values and traditions that can come in handy, especially here on the island, because we can be cut off. So we need to know these things and we need to pass them on. So my challenge to you, community-minded individuals, let's focus on the traditions and the values and pass those on in your community, organize events so that we can share and interact and just be jolly with each other. All right, so in closing, Papa Umpu, during COVID, it was a rough time. We thought as an organization, what could we do? So we asked different people in the community to share messages of hope, and we put them up on Facebook. What Papa Umpu shared is aligned with what we shared tonight, and I would like to share his wise words with you.
Sankofa is a West African word from the Akan people that means to go back and fetch it. In this time of coronavirus crisis, we could benefit from some Sankofa. We need to Sankofa family, looking out for each other. We need to Sankofa, it takes a village to raise a child. We need to Sankofa jollification. We need to Sankofa making sure that our neighbors are not hungry while we are eating. By going back and fetching some of these values that have sustained us over the years, we will ride through this crisis easier.
It's a comment, and I so applaud this because I have seen that community spirit builds much healthier, emotionally healthier people. Technology have taken over the world.
That's correct.
People are so caught up in it.
That's correct.
That they have lost a sense of happiness, and they're searching for happiness. But it is amongst us.
That's it.
If we just come together, you know, and do simple, I call it simple things, you know, like making a johnny cake, not with oil, but like roasting it on 3 stones. And it's just there and sharing stories.
Yeah.
You go home so happy.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
you know,
people are searching for happiness.
It's right here. The late Daniela Jeffrey, we spoke to her too. Yeah. We visited her. And she talked about of the St. Maarten of old and these things, you know, she touched on, you know, really coming together, being in community. We were healthier then. Yeah. Not as many people then needed psychologists than they do now because we live lonely lives. We are cut off. Yes. We act as if we are individuals all alone on this planet, but we are part of community, and that is what has sustained us. So this individualism, it has its pros, but it certainly has its con. And there's a saying that says, trauma heals in the presence of caring others. When people care, we heal, we cope. We don't necessarily have to sit in a house all by ourselves. There are so many lonely people here. That's because that sense of community is slipping away. So that's what we are advocating, because we believe that this contributes to emotional, spiritual, psychological, physical, cultural well-being, holistic well-being. That is what they practice. And if we could practice a fraction of what they practice, I think we would be better off.